Yes, John Higgins, the man of the moment, looking to complete a hat-trick of title victories. What a golden spell he's had. Yet another one in a golden career. I think when the draw was made a few weeks ago, Paul Davison would have been well aware that he was up against it, but obviously more so after what happened in Guangzhou and then just a few days ago in Coventry. But I'm pleased to see Higgins here because he could have been forgiven, I think, for ducking out and having a week off before the UK Championship, but he is here eyeing another title.
Yes, full credit to him. As you say, he could have taken a week off. Paul Davison then. Refusing the long red. Didn't quite have the angle to play onto the black.
We saw Davison recently in Daqing at the International Championship, played Mark Selby, pushed him hard. Selby won those 6-4.
Well, that shows you John's intention, opening the reds up, playing an excellent safety. Although the red next to the blue offers him a chance back to balk. Caught it too thick. Unfortunately, the white has gone in the pocket. Had it rattled instead down this end of the table, it could have been a lot worse.
"15 years ago, this man, John Higgins, won the first 3 titles of that season. Here he is at the age of 41 with a chance to complete another hat-trick. Incredible, really. Particularly just how well he played in those 2 finals. The China Championship finished off with 3 centuries against Stuart Bingham, and then to beat Ronnie O'Sullivan 10-7. Made 10 half-centuries in that match.
Incredible. To be playing top-class snooker like that, 41. Quite incredible. Chance to try and bring the black into play here. He's pushed the red over the corner. Has he covered it? Looks like he has. Full ball. So something to think about here for Higgins. Trying to get the cue ball in the jaws of the green pocket and hide this red over the left corner. And he's done that, so the trouble falls to Paul. This isn't easy to get safe. Could come off the side cushion there and just land up to that red. Probably afraid of the in-off if he plays that shot. But it wouldn't be a disaster if the white went in. But he's seen something different. Caught that second red unintentionally. But looks good. So Higgins playing the shot that are recommended for Davison. Just coming off the side cushion. But got to be careful of the in-off. Caught it full enough.
Of course, they both turned pro at the same time, 92. Davison's been on and off the tour a little since, though. Currently 92nd in the world.
Well, that's another good safety from Paul Davison. May have forced Higgins into taking this long red on. Thin red to the corner. Very, very difficult shot. And every chance if he hits this thick of cannoning into other reds. Great pot. He did cannon into the reds, but it worked out very nicely indeed. Had to get that one. Just nothing you can do about a player knocking in those type of reds. Had him in trouble. Davison had Higgins in trouble.
7.
Played a good shot. Just can't stop a man knocking terrific reds in like that.
Well, especially someone who's come here with so much confidence. I mean, he couldn't be more confident starting this tournament. Had his family with him, Denise and their children, celebrated in Coventry. I think they'll be having a nice Christmas with the 300,000 and counting that he's earned in recent times. Of course, they weren't ranking tournaments, so he didn't add to his tally of 28, but still
15.
Huge titles to win, because of course he was playing top players in every round.
16.
Yes, and didn't count towards his ranking points either. So stays the same ranking, which is number 6.
I think the satisfaction, of course the money's huge, but he's showing everyone and himself
22.
that he can still do it at a time when players are supposed to be declining.
$23.
Would have liked to have been a bit closer to the pink, but that's all he could do.
$29.
Well, the winner of this tournament receives the Alex Higgins trophy, but the form this man's in, it could well be the John Higgins trophy again. Long way to go, of course, but it's obviously feeling so good. There's an issue perhaps around tiredness, but we shall see. He's on the crest of a wave at the moment.
36.
Just loving every minute of it.
Yeah, well, if you're looking at the pots that he's potting here, everything is going in the middle of the pocket. Nothing's touching the angles.
37.
At the moment, that is, but it started with that really good long red. But right, never touch the sides. Clean, everything's clean. It started with this red,
43.
which was a fantastic red. He was cannoning into the reds, couldn't avoid them. Put all his eggs in one basket. And looks like he's going to eat them all.
Yes, and although he's played a lot of matches, he's won them all of late. So it's not like he's got to a couple of finals and lost and had that disappointment. It's all positive.
He's cueing superbly. And another snooker player can tell these things. And if Paul's sat there in his chair, he's looking at these shots. And look again, never
51.
touch the sides. Right in the heart of the pocket. He didn't do anything wrong, Paul Davison. Put his opponent in trouble.
$57.
Another couple of reds with colours and he'll be safe.
58.
Great start this from Higgins. Played a couple of good safety shots. Knocked the long red in. And looks like he's going to win this frame at one visit. Just this red needed.
64.
Well, he's brought his golden
65.
form with him across the sea to Belfast. And the players he's beaten as well to win these tournaments. He's beaten Mark Williams, Ali Carter, Mark Allen, Stuart Bingham, and then Sean Murphy, Judd Trump, Ding Junhui, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
71.
The best players in the game, other than himself. Missed that one, so not quite over yet. Leads by 75,
71.
with 67 still on.
Two snookers to tie, but I'm sure he's done enough. But it does allow Davison just to have a few shots. Had that red gone in and another pink, he'd probably have sat in his chair. Doesn't really want Paul to get the feel of the table.
One of Paul Davison's notable wins was actually over Alex Higgins, who's, as I say, the trophy's been named after him. That was in the European Open '97 at the end of Higgins' career. Well, this Higgins is in the form of his life, and that should kill off this frame.
Another incredible pot mat from John. As David said, in the form of his life. And it's great to see.
5.
It's great to see him back at his absolute best.
So John Higgins has dominated the opening frame, a break of 71, did all the damage. He's doing some damage of late, isn't he, as he attempts to win a hat-trick of titles. He leads Paul Davison here in Belfast by 1-0.
Thank you. Second frame. Paul Davison to break.
Welcome back to Belfast, where Paul Davison is looking to do what 8 members of the top 16 have failed to do in the last 2 tournaments, and that's beat John Higgins. And Higgins has made an anonymous start. Break of 71 to win the first frame. First to 4 reaches the second round of this Northern Ireland Open. And the winner will play Sam Craigie, who beat Jamie Jones 4-0 earlier. Better start to this tournament than the English Open for Sam, who didn't turn up for that, but he was here this morning and he won 4-0.
Well, that's respect for Paul Davison. Not taking this long red onto the right corner. Trying to bring black into play. But hasn't got a good cue ball there. Little tempter here to the right corner. Well, looking at the one to the left corner, but there's more danger with that one. No, couldn't be tempted. Well, it was a good attempt. Knew he could only leave the red he was playing on. Had it gone in, it could have been another big break. And it wasn't far away. Well, again, that was a pretty good shot that he played there. Wasn't leaving anything on, nothing easy anyway. It was on the blue, had it gone in.
Paul Davison got back on the tour through the Q School at the start of last season, which is no mean feat. It's very competitive there. So he got his tour card back, and that's for 2 seasons. So this is the second of them. So he needs to finish in the top 64 at the end of the campaign to stay on the tour. He's 92nd at the moment, so clearly needing points.
Oh, another clever shot that from Davison. Snooker's a bonus, but caught the red full. He's misjudged this one. So, that good safety has given Paul a chance.
One.
Well, it's the first real chance he's had in the match.
6.
And one way to stop John Higgins knocking in breaks is to keep him in his seat, which is where he is right now.
Seven.
Yeah, didn't quite bring the cue ball back far enough. Wanted to be top side of the blue. Just got to avoid the baulk colours here. And the next red, it's not straightforward. And that's why he's chose to go into the pack. Lots of right-hand side on the cue ball.
12.
And played it well, just didn't split as well as what he intended. Couldn't have played that much better. Might be able to get this red to the right corner and play onto the pink. Bring the black into play as well. Well, he's unfortunate that the black has come to spoil things. That was a good shot he played there. Left-hand side on the cue ball. Just coming round for the pink, and he'd been nicely on it. And the black just not dropped in front of it.
Brown ball.
Very unfortunate.
For Davison, 13.
Got to avoid the double kiss here. Great pot. Great pot, but that's where he played the cue ball. With a chance to lay up behind the yellow. He's just a little afraid of hitting it a bit too hard and leaving the red onto the right corner. May be able to drop the cue ball in behind the brown. Now just a little tickle up behind the yellow. Now he was well short with that one. That wasn't a good shot from Paul to leave the red on. And may have been as well just rolling up to the yellow. There is a red that will go to the left corner.
Seven, thank you.
May be able to open the reds up, stay on the black and pink.
Eight.
Forgot to mention the yellow, but anything that gets him to the next red is good. And another great chance this for Higgins.
Ten. 11. $18.
Yes, it's not ideally on any of these reds. Played for choice of reds. But that was a
19.
delicate little shot he played there. Slow screw across the table to finish perfectly onto the black.
$26.
No,
27.
Well, so far so good. He's
34.
20 in front in this second frame.
$35.
You probably will have guessed, listening, that we're quite near the airport, and this venue is kind of a marquee, so that's why there's a bit of noise outside. I'll tell you what, there'll be a bit of noise inside tonight because Ronnie and Jimmy are on, and ticket sales are really good for this
42.
evening, so it should be a great atmosphere inside this venue.
$43.
Another nice little shot there from Higgins, using the red to get the right side of the blue. $34 points
48.
the difference, just checking. A black and a blue would be enough. Well, it
49.
must have been straight, so he's got to come in and out of balk, but the brown not on its spot, so it should be a little easier. Played it well. 40 points the difference.
54.
Black or blue would be enough to leave his opponent needing snookers.
$55.
Well, this is the same ruthless snooker that he's been producing of late.
Applause for frame ball.
62.
This red to make absolutely sure. And there it is again, bang in the middle of the pocket.
63.
Just one mistake from Davison gave Higgins the opening.
Yes, he had a chance of his own. He was a little unfortunate playing a
70.
cannon off the black to play onto the pink. Had to play the safety.
Foul. John Higgins 70.
Well, he's done
Paul
enough.
Davison, 4.
So breaks of 71 and 70 from John Higgins. Paul Davison is actually playing on, though, in this frame, but a long, long way back.
Yeah, just to get a little bit of table time, really. No chance of winning the frame. Just wants to have a few shots. But John, I'm absolutely sure that he won't take anything for granted. He'll still play as hard with his opponent needing snookers. There you go, look. Playing the snooker, even though it's his opponent who needs the snookers. Doesn't want Davison to get any table time. Not quite a snooker.
Paul Davison's pot success is actually 100%. He's not that he's been missing, he's just not been getting the chances. As Joe said, he was in, it went wrong, but then he just a lack of safety allowed Higgins in for the 70 break that he made. And that red, regardless of what happens to the white, is frame over.
Foul.
Paul Davison.
Davison 4.
I think he's
Frame
conceding.
conceded.
He is
Frame.
indeed.
John Higgins.
So John Higgins carrying on from where he left off in the last couple of tournaments, queuing really nicely here in Belfast. He leads Paul Davison by 2 frames to 0.
Thank you. Third frame. John Higgins.
John Higgins already halfway towards a place in the second round of this new Northern Ireland Open poll of the Home Nation Series. He leads Paul Davison 2-0. Breaks of 71 and 70 from the cue of the Wizard of Wishaw. The thing is, he'd been very solid leading into the 2 tournaments he won. He was a quarter-finalist in 4 ranking events from the 6 that he played this season, so he was getting results, just not quite getting to the very end of tournaments, but he's put that right of late.
Yes, he was always on the verge, wasn't he? Playing excellent snooker. It's all come together with the last 2 events. Very intimidating snooker, when you know you can't afford to leave your opponent anything at all. But the full ball kiss on the green has either made the safety easier or this long pot. And I think it's time Davison maybe attack the balls, try and knock in a couple of big breaks of his own. Possible plant here to the right corner. Left corner as we're looking at it now. And that's not good. Chance for Higgins with this red to the left corner. Paul could have taken this one on. I know it's risky. But you don't always leave a red on if you go for the shots. They're saying that fortune favours the brave. Difficult to see Paul winning this match with safety. Probably the best, one of the best safety players, John Higgins, that's ever lived.
Yes, and also, Joe, I think the problem is he's not just great in one department, he's great in every department. He's won tournaments, not necessarily playing his best, but when he's on song in all areas, he's virtually unbeatable.
Well, personally myself, I think he's the best all-rounder. He's very, very good in all departments.
Yes, very heavy scorer. He's third on the all-time list for centuries, over 600 to his name. And also the temperament as well, big match temperament. We saw that in the last 2 finals, particularly the way he stepped up against Bingham with the 3 centuries at the end from 7 each.
Well, that's opened things up. The black totally free now, but he hasn't quite got that cue ball into a safe place. If this goes in, it could be 3-0. How's your luck? Chance. The ball, Davison. And one you feel he's got to take.
One.
Well, he's still not actually missed a pot yet, but he's only actually taken on 7. He's potted them all. So chances have been very much few and far between. They have played once before, only once, which I guess is a surprise, having both turned pro in '92. That was just 3 years ago. Higgins won 4-1 in an Asian tour event out in China.
Oh, didn't want the kiss on the red, and that led to the kiss on the other red, and that's a disaster. Coming down the table, he wanted to miss that first red, the pack of reds, and it would have been on choice of reds. Just got too much into the cue ball. And no mistake this time. And that's a good kiss on that second red.
One.
Nice little flick off this red to go up for the black or blue. Wanted to get the black back on its spot. Don't think it can hold for the black this time round.
8.
But could play it for the pink or blue. Well, he did hold for the black.
9.
Gave himself chance of pink or black there.
Well,
And
it's apparent, isn't it, that right now he doesn't care who he plays, whether it's Paul Davison, whether it's Ronnie O'Sullivan. He's just feeling so good about his game. He's hit a real purple patch. This needs to just slow down. He's okay.
yeah, just a little
16.
bit too hard. But as you say, he's okay.
Yeah, the point is he just fancies
17.
getting them right now. And also, little things go wrong, he can just get on with it. Whereas if your confidence is low, those things can fester in your mind, I think, and then start to miss.
$24.
And he's, like any player over a long career, his form has come and gone. He lost at the Crucible to Stephen Hendry. Last match Hendry ever won as a pro, he beat this man 13-4, and John Higgins was just all over the place there. But this is the exact
25.
opposite of that.
$30. $31.
Well, the cannon didn't work out as he intended. He's still on both reds
38.
here, but not quite as easy. Having to go down the table.
$39.
the last roll. Judged it to perfection.
44. $45.
Not looking good for Davison.
No, well, this is the third half century from Higgins. He had 10 against O'Sullivan in the final on Saturday in Coventry.
52.
So that consistent scoring has done the damage.
Yes, it was a poor positional shot that Paul played. Just catching the reds. Going in off.
53.
And it's going to be very costly.
There you see it, 64 the difference, so red and a colour. Snooker's required once again.
Yes, must just tickle these reds. No.
61.
I think he expected just a little rub on the reds, which would have left him closer to the black. So maybe just concentrate on the black, looking at a possible plant to the right corner. But make sure of the black.
2 snookers needed.
68.
Higgins lining up the plant to the middle.
And everything going for Higgins.
69.
Well, what we're seeing here is a player just right on top of his game. He did celebrate, and why shouldn't he, in Coventry on Saturday night with his family, but there's no sign of any
76.
hangover here. Looks as fresh as a daisy.
$77.
Yes, really pleased that he came and played in this event, because he had every reason to pull out. But no
84.
sign of tiredness, as David said. In fact, he looks very,
85.
very sharp.
So, looking like century number 21 this season for
92.
John Higgins. Another immaculate break.
93.
Well, he's already looking like the man to beat this week.
100. $101.
Oh, just can't miss.
Well, just brilliant.
107.
What a great feeling this must be for John Higgins. As I say, he's had his struggles, every player has. So the break ends at 107, and he's firmly in control of this match, and Paul Davison has a mountain and a half to climb. John Higgins 1 away from victory, leading here in Belfast by 3 frames to 0.
Thank you. 4th frame. Paul Davison to break.
Well, Paul Davison has run into a player in a glorious form here. John Higgins 3-0 up. He's had breaks of 71, 70 and 107.
Well, good pace on the cue ball. Might just be able to free the black here, play the snooker. Well, with that red down in the balk area there, difficult to play the safety.
There's the referee, Robert Zablocki, who, of course, will be keeping an eye on this if it is to be a stalemate.
It's touch and ball.
Well, touch and ball called. He might just play the cue ball in behind the black. He's a little bit wary of leaving that red by the balk line. Doesn't want to allow Higgins to see that red. He could play safe off it. Got to be careful not to leave the red onto the right corner, though. Now that's pretty good. Awkward cueing. Whichever red he plays. Now can Higgins clip this red into the middle pocket? He's had a good look at it. Wasn't easy, especially with all the right-hand side on the cue ball to avoid the red. So, a chance for Paul Davison.
It is a chance, but this must be a bit like running in front of a moving train. You just feel if you stumble, you're going to be completely run over.
Yes, dead right. Can't afford to miss. Got to try and keep everything simple.
We saw earlier, didn't we, Joe Perry wasn't playing at his best against Tara Santos, but he missed, and after a couple of frames he realised he wasn't going to be punished. But this is a completely different story.
Well, I'm not sure if the red next to the black will go. If it does, he's played an excellent shot there. That's the only red that can get him to the black. Yeah, good shot.
7.
And well thought out. Could have played for easier reds than that one. It could so easily have gone wrong. But now he's in with a good chance.
$14. 15.
Would have liked to have just clipped those two reds and developed them, but still okay.
$22. $23.
Just about got the right side of the blue. Well, I'm sure he would have liked to have seen that cue ball closer to this red. These are difficult pots. Again, they look easy, but he's left himself slightly hampered by the blue. But even if he wasn't, still not an easy pot, this. Nicely played.
29.
Although he has left it short on the blue this time round. The yellow could be in the way if he tries to come in and out of balk. Just looking at if he just drops the blue in, leaves the cue ball mid-distance for this red to the right corner. If he can leave it fairly straight, that would be okay, but if the cue ball's going into the cluster, well, it all depends what kind of an angle he's got on this red. If he can just drop it in,
34.
not too bad, but he hasn't quite got the angle. So this could go wrong. Yeah, he tried to create the angle and didn't
Davison,
quite have
34.
the angle just to drop the red in for the black. Played it thicker. But I don't think he's done any damage. I don't think he's left John Higgins with a chance. So he just got that little bit of luck there that he needed, Paul.
Problem is, though, even though he didn't leave a pot on, you don't want John Higgins coming back to the table really in any capacity at the moment.
So could this be the shot that Higgins has been looking for?
Well, he's 5 out of 7 for long potting in the match.
And let me tell you, viewers, that that's pretty good. But hasn't got that one. So another half chance this for Paul Davison. Thin cut to the right corner. good pot. Needs that cue ball to bounce. And nicely on the brown. It just depends what kind of an angle he's got on the brown as to whether he can get to the reds again. Again, he didn't play that one particularly well.
5.
If he played for the red to the left of the pink, he just got a little bit too much pace in the cue ball. If he played for the red above the black and to the left, he's a little shorter pace. Oh, he caught the other red first.
Foul. Paul Davison 5.
And
John
again
Higgins
he goes in off. He's so unfortunate. A little harder and he'd have been nicely on that red below the black. It was the kiss on the blue that did for him, really. Well, didn't miss that long pot. And he's nicely on the blue with that little flick on the pink.
Higgins has his chance to win. Frame and match.
Yes, and those two reds just below the pink
6.
were in unpottable positions, but he's left himself an angle on this red to bring them into play.
Yeah.
Well, if John Higgins does win, as seems likely at some point, he'll be in our studio, and if you use the hashtag #HomeNations on Twitter, you can pose him your questions. That's hashtag #HomeNations.
Yeah, just came a little too far for that red directly above the black.
7.
Nicely on the black. Or pink. Just under hit that one slightly.
14.
Wanted to be straighter on the red.
$15. $20.
Well, again, this is a very confident shot he's playing here because he's nicely on the red above the black, but hasn't got the angle to bring those two reds into play. So taking the more difficult red. Again, made it
21.
look easy. Slightly hampered by that red, hence the cue ball not coming straight enough on this red
28.
to the right corner. But he's going to be bringing those two reds into play. and played it hard
29.
enough to bring that red back off the cushion again. If the red has gone in an unpottable position there just above the pink, he's been very unfortunate. Lots of right-hand side on the cue ball there to bring it round for this red below the pink.
33.
And now just checking to see if the red will go into that left middle. Whatever happens, he's going to need the difficult yellow.
$34.
Now we'll soon find out if this red goes to the middle. He thinks it does. And if he thinks it does, it's good enough for me.
41.
Well, I'm sure Paul Davison is thinking yellow now is really his only hope.
$42.
Well, this last red, not in the best position. Has the angle to try and drop him behind it for the middle or the corner. He's not on it, so Davison will be coming back to the table, barring doubles.
48.
He leads by 13.
John Higgins, 48.
It's not quite a snooker.
No, but he'll be sending the red towards that right corner. Yes, it's one of those times where when you could see the red, it was a disadvantage because it was going towards that right corner pocket, and the kiss on the yellow is an absolute disaster for Paul.
Could not have gone worse. Simple as that.
1.
I mean, it was a tough draw anyway. As I say, a few weeks ago when the draw came out, to play John Higgins first round, but to play John Higgins off the back of 2 big title wins. His only hope, I guess, was that Higgins would be tired and maybe not as focused as he could be, but
6.
Not a bit of that. He's looked exactly the same as he did in the final 2 days ago in Coventry.
In fact, he looks the exact opposite. He looks sharp.
8.
Although that wasn't a good shot he's played there.
Yeah, still needs the green. He's 21 in front, so still needs this green.
Well, that was the worst shot he's played so far. Yellow to green there. And he's left himself a real nasty one. But right in the middle of the pocket.
Yeah.
Never touched the sides.
It just sums up how well he's been playing, doesn't it, last couple of weeks. What a cracking shot to win it. Barring snookers. 1 needed.
John Higgins, 11.
Yes, not over yet, but what a cracking green that was from Higgins. And here it is again. Look, right in the centre of the pocket. Just short of pace. He had the line. John could play the cue ball in behind the black here. Might be a little risky to take the pot on. And that's what's called keeping the pressure on.
And Paul Davison knows that he needs one snooker, but potentially might have to lay 10 before he gets the penalty points. Well, surely that is now it in terms of this match. Well, they call John Higgins the Wizard of Wishaw, and in recent times he's cast a spell on the world of snooker with some truly magical play, and it's continuing here in Belfast.
9.
In the last 2 tournaments he's won £300,000, a 70 for the winner here on Sunday, and he's got to be the man to beat.
15.
He's playing superbly, some of the best sustained snooker of his whole career, and there's a whitewash win for the Scot. John Higgins safely into the second round. The great form continues for him. He's beaten Paul Davison here in Belfast by 4 frames to 0.